Icicles can be caused by a plethora of things.
Correct.
Now, being a Dr. Energy Saver dealer and knowing how home performance works and how a home breathes and how heat loss happens and what happens when your home loses heat, we know one thing, that if it's really cold and you're getting a lot of thaw and you're getting icicles and ice dams, you've got a problem inside your home. It has a lot to do with your air sealing and insulation. But what we also know is that we get freeze thaw temps, which we've had a lot of this year. We get a little snow and then it freezes and thaws. And what are gutters made of?
Aluminum.
And aluminum is very cold.
Right.
So as that snow and ice melt, and they freeze and they thaw and they freeze and they thaw, they hit the cold gutters and they freeze.
Did you ever have a kid dare you to put your tongue on a flagpole as a kid?
I don't know, but from watching the movie, I just did it once.
I bet someone talked you into it.
It hurt.
I never did it. I was smart to have dumber friends than me that I could talk into doing it, so I didn't have to do it. But the same principle happens there, right? When you it was funny. We were out with a customer, and it was actually a really cool experience. It was single digits last week, 2 weeks ago, and we went with a thermal imaging camera, and we actually found that where the sun was hitting a shingle in a single digit day air temperature, that shingle was actually 45, almost 50 degrees.
Wow.
So not only do we have heat loss coming from an attic, we also have that big orange thing in the sky called the sun that can, when it hits warm surfaces, especially dark, like shingles, it can warm that up and get water moving around. And when that water hits that metal, just like when you're a kid on a flag in your tongue on a flagpole, when it hits it, it has to freeze. It happens in open style gutters. It happens with no gutters. It happens with any covered gutter.
Right.
And that is just part of Wisconsin.
But if your gutter's open,
you have a giant ice cream tray.
It's falling to the bottom.
Right.
And it's freezing in the bottom. So a lot of people that didn't have covered gutters, they might not necessarily have seen it, or it was there and it was starting to rear its ugly head as an ice dam created by the gutter, but sometimes it gets covered by snow and you couldn't see it. We actually did a study one time. We took an open gutter and we cut it and we made it into a 1 foot chunk. We end capped it, we sealed it up, we filled it with ice, and we stuck it in the freezer and we froze it. You know how much it weighed? 20 pounds.
Wow.
1 5-inch gutter, 1 foot long, 20 pounds of ice. So if you got a 40-foot piece,
so if you got a 50-foot piece, you have a half a ton of.
You have 1,000 pounds hanging from the front of your house. Now, what we know in it, honestly, it can be gutter shutter. It could be any covered gutter.
Yep. Leaf guard, leaf filter,
anything
gutter helmet.
It's going to do is it's going to take where that ice freezes from the bottom of the gutter up to the top of the gutter. Now, a couple things. You see it more, so you're like, what is going on? But as an icicle, it's also allowing that ice to then fall off your house.
Correct.
It's not all sitting in the trough and freezing and pulling on your fascia and misforming the gutters.
Correct.
So it's actually much better for the home. And I think a lot of people see them and they think something's not working right. It's absolutely
doing its job.
It's absolutely working how it's supposed to work.